Lovers, hello. Welcome to Fat Chats.
I'm Jade from the Sexy and Sovereign podcast.
And I'm Melissa Louise from the Pleasure Studio.
And we're here to share some fun as fuck chats with you today about how to build trust in relationships. And this is multi-level. So this is about building trust for erotic spaces. This is building trust in your relationships in general with your family. This is about building trust in yourself, first and foremost, and building trust in a way that we can just be better in community. So, Melly, we've had a really fun week. We've been having some really quality giggles about our week, and
our phones have been blowing up every day.
Totally. So we've decided to add a few segments to the podcast. Just spice it up a bit. And we don't actually have a name to this segment, but we're going to call it Slutty Moments of the Week, because we are all about claiming the sacred slut. Being sexy, owning it. Who says that the word slut needs to be a problem? We both think it's really fun.
It is so much fun.
Oh, totally. You've got to get your slut on. So tell me about your slutty moment of the week, honey.
Oh my God, my amazing slutty moment of the week. That is reaping benefits galore. So on Friday, it was Friday afternoon around 5-ish, I think. And I'd had a whole day of filming here and we'd had a house full of people. And I'm like, oh my God, I've got all of these emails. I just need to go and do these 2 hours of work. So I take myself on a date, which Miss JD here has always been nudging me, reminding me, Melissa, you got to get out of the house. No, I don't.
That was my psychic superpowers. I was like, Melissa, there is a guy in a fucking cafe. You actually need to go and do some big business somewhere. I can see him. Go and find him.
She said, you got to get on your computer in public. I'm like, what?
Yeah, get out of the house. Your man is outside the house.
Last time that got told to me by Joanne 2 birthdays ago. You've got to leave the house, and that's when I met Woody.
Mate, don't be in a hurry, will you? Leave it for 2 years. Finally, she's up with the program. Anyway, you left the house, and
left the house. It's such a monumentous moment.
The house.
So I got in my red dress, took myself on a date. Made sure I had like the best seat in the house. I wanted the whole day bed action. You know me, you can't sit on a little square. I'm like, I'm not sitting in the corner. I want to have the day bed behind me and all the cushions, so I can just see the restaurant while I'm working away. Like, Miss I own the place, bitch. And so I'm sitting there, and in walk 3 guys. I've got a red dress on and I'm out of the house. Let's just the world.
That's all that.
So 3 guys walk in, and one of them was a holy fuck moment. I was like, who is that? Like, I literally leaned back in the wall with my mouth open.
Be like, thank you, goddess. You did a really good job. That man is amazing.
Yeah. I've been rewarded for leaving the
500 points for your creation.
That's right. So there was
I want to thank his mama.
That's right.
Sorry, babe. Continue.
It's so funny. Like, it was so much. I messaged my girlfriend up the hill going, you've just got to get down here. Like, just fucking come down. I can dig a lot. Like, you're just gonna sit. You just need to sit. Like, let's just sit and gaze at this glory. And she's like, she couldn't come down. That's how amazing he was. So then he, I caught his eye, which is a bit fab. So we were like doing the little gazes, and I'm like, I'm not backing down. Like, are you serious? This is monumental. He's fucking gorgeous. I have not actually been blown away by a specimen of a human in a very, very long time. So like this type, I'm like, holy shit. So I wasn't backing down. So every time I saw him glance my way, I just maintained the gaze, like, hi. And so he goes to the bathroom, and when he comes back, walks past me, which he didn't have to do. And when we caught eyes, like when our eyes locked and said, you know, like we acknowledged each other, I actually leaned forward with my hands open going, who the fuck are you? Like, is that like polite as ever? And so he sits down, all of this thing. And so then another table, all of this chaos, well, not chaos, but things happen. I'm like, okay, I've got to give him my card and I'm going to walk out of the restaurant. I'm going to finish my work and walk out. And he was at a table with 2 other guys and 2 other women. So I'm like, I'm going
to claim. To the bit.
I'll get to the bit. I know. I'm such a like,
come on.
I've got to hand him my card. Look, the listeners are loving it, honey. I can feel it. Go and grab yourself a cup of tea. Melissa's telling a story. And then I step forward with my left leg. No. So I go to the bathroom.
In my red high heels.
That's right, red high heels, nearly tripped. No.
Showed a little bit of your leg on the way.
It was only a little bit because it was so short. On the way to the toilet.
A little bit of my tiny short leg.
That's from a joke before, lovers. You weren't there for it. Anyway, so we
go to the toilet.
I go to the bathroom. I get my business card out of my purse and I cover it in pussy juice. And I put pussy juice on my wrist and on the hand that I'm going to be handing it to him because fucking hell, witchy poo magic. Pheromones. It's all over.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Were you wearing jeans?
No. Red dress.
Okay. A dress. Oh, so you had to lift up your skirt and do the full vaginal swipe in the bathroom. Cover all the things in your glorious yoni juice.
A perfume of me. Perfume of what?
Here, darling, have some pheromones.
That's right. He's a load of pheromones with a business card in the middle. So when I went out, I made myself known at the table, leaned across, and once again just said, I don't know who the fuck you are, but I live here. Like, so not polite. Swearing my head off like a bloody sailor because I'm so nervous. And within an hour, he messaged me. And we've had a date already, and we're having another one tomorrow before he flies out somewhere. Fucking awesome. So glorious. Absolutely glorious. It worked. I haven't told him yet that that's what was on the card. Don't any of you tell him.
Well, what I really love is, and you did actually just leave out of this story, is that you came from a place of confidence of like, I want to know you. You left that bit out. I don't know who you are, but I want to know you.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then you walked out. And having the guts to go and talk to him while there was 3 other women there.
Well, yeah, 2 men and 2 women. And it was really beautiful. I had to stand and just, because each person one by one acknowledged me because he was still talking to someone. So it was really beautiful. It was beautiful to breathe through that, to acknowledge each person, say hi. Yes, I know I'm gate crashing your table, but you'll find it, I never said that, but just in that glancing breathing, it was really beautiful. And the thing was, when it's like wanting to know him, there was just something about him. Oh my God, it was so enigmatic. And he was so strong and so grounded and just like, yes, he's stunning looking, like, holy fuck, really stunning looking, and his whole being is really stunning.
Yeah. That presence that was like, I need to know you.
Yes. Who are
which is amazing, because what an awesome segue into building trust. Obviously, you have this place of trust in your own erotic energy, the playfulness there, that place of like, dude, you are amazing. I have not seen this caliber of person in front of me that I actually really want to get to know. And so trusting yourself enough to go and be playful and to do that and to stand there and breathe through it, like, that is amazing. That's fully owning and trusting yourself.
Thank you, love. Do you know the one thing and it was really interesting, I'd had this conversation with my son speaking about going for jobs and dating and all of this stuff, is someone's no is more about them. And I remember, and I was sitting there going, there is such an attraction to this person. I have no idea whether he's married. I have no idea whether he's taken. I don't know if he lives here. It's his no would be everything to do with him. He's not available for a relationship. He's not interested. He's not. So his no is about him not being interested in me, as opposed to anything going on, for me. And it was really great to do that. So, just sit and breathe in that. Is going, yeah, right now, I have no idea who he is. We're not even talking. So I already have a no. I already have a non-existence of us connecting. So I might as well hand over my card and leave it. And on the way home, I remember coming at home, and this thing is like momentum. I was speaking with a client about this today around dating, the momentum. And this is a thing in the feminine where if there's not momentum and if the masculine doesn't jump, if we've created a segue for the man to take the lead, the masculine to take the lead, if there's no momentum, it's how interest wanes, because it's like, oh, didn't follow through. He didn't penetrate the energy. He didn't penetrate the space. And I remember like before he texts me, maybe there was just a moment going, he may never text. And that's actually okay. I just did a thing and I can do that again.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
so,
because you played your own erotic edge in that moment. You got to
Mhm.
step into this self-confidence of, great, I have my own unique pheromones, and let's see if I'm this guy's flavor. Because like not everybody likes French food. I don't. I do like French humans. I'm actually talking about cuisine right now. Some people really like Thai
your
food.
sexy moment soon.
I don't know if I can tell it on public in case one of my family members watch this, and I do.
So it's okay for me to upload. I so get you. But yeah, caveat. Sorry, Melissa.
No, later, because I want to talk about this first. Okay. So this is how I got myself into a place of really embracing my musical, like my music and what I've got to share. Because I was in this place of comparison. And I know this happens with dating, and quite often it's what holds us back from being able to step forward and say, oh my God, I want to get to know this person. And I'm willing to receive a no, like you just said. But what helped me is I was watching MasterChef one day, and I was watching this guy who was amazing at French food cuisine. And I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, wow, that's so great for people who like it. And I could see how beautiful his cooking was. I was appreciating the detail and the love and everything he put into it. And I was in awe of this chef, but I knew that I would not go and eat at his restaurant. And it had nothing to do with him, how amazing his craft was, how refined in his craft was. It was just like, that's not my flavor. And so it translated for me at the time in, great, I have my own musical flavor and not everybody's going to love it, but it's cool because the people that do are my people. And yeah, that was really great, because then I thought about it on all levels and thought about it in relationships, all relationships, like friendships and erotic spaces and committed partnerships and stuff. So yeah. And I wrote down a few quotes for today because it's such a phat as fuck subject. And what I really loved was this quote by Julianne Moore. She's an actress. Loving someone is giving someone the power to break your heart, but trusting them not to. And what I want to add to this is loving self is trusting that you've got your own back that you're listening to yourself, and that a broken heart is an open heart. Because in truth, like just weaving this together with understanding that we're not always someone's flavor and there's always a risk.
Mhm.
And trust, like this subject of trust is massive. A relationship cannot be juicy. Our bodies don't open. We can't, cervical orgasms are not a thing without trust. Like this is this place where we are able to surrender into the deep waters of the heart and really go there.
Mhm.
However, if our trust is entirely projected on another person, that it's trusting them to that they might break your heart, but you're giving them the gift of your trust, it's outside of yourself. And I love her quote because it's true. You actually are, you know, loving someone is giving someone the power to break your heart. It's actually true. Like, it sucks hearing a no. Let's be honest. It's really gutsy business putting yourself forward and saying, yeah, this is too good to say no to. And I know you could totally fucking wreck me in a minute, but I prefer that you wreck me in the bedroom.
And please take more than a minute.
Wreck me all night long, baby. That's what I'm here for. But then trusting them not to, right? And so when we're giving someone the gift of trust, it really is backed up by that deep relationship with self where we're like, okay, I know that I'm going to be okay if this doesn't work out. I know my sovereignty. I know what it takes to hold myself in safety. I know that I'm listening for my fuck yes and my fuck no. I know that I'm an intuitive person and I am going to take this still small voice of wisdom inside of me into this relationship and have my own back by listening to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's when we don't listen to that piece where everything is outside of ourselves that we have already moved into a codependent dynamic, because we've given our trust away to a source outside of ourselves. And yes, that piece is required, but without the trust in self, without saying, I don't need to be your flavor of food to be okay in the world. If you end up saying to me, hey, this is not for me, I've fucking got me. I am not rejecting myself based on what you are saying yes or no to. So yeah, this is that piece of like really knowing, like, it's essential to trust, but what are the building blocks that are being laid down, and how have you got your own back? Because that the minute that we start going, but I need you to behave in the following ways for me to feel safe to trust you. And yes, trust is broken. People do dumb shit, and we're going to go through that throughout this section, this podcast. Probably not all of the ways, but there are ways that we really break trust. And a lot of the time it's stuff that we don't know. And it's a two-way street. Like, everybody has a unique set of needs to feel really safe, to be loved, and to love. So yeah.
When you're talking about unique needs, I mean, this is so deep, isn't it? Because our needs of what makes us feel safe is also whatever what has been set or what we've decided means safety when we're younger as well, in the 0 to 8 years of age bracket. And I love, like what I was saying before, loving the fact of like someone else's no is about them. It's not, it's not towards me. It's not a lack of self-worth here.
Yeah.
But, and there's another saying that you always say, like a relationship is a reason, season, or a lifetime,
Yeah.
And if we can view that relating with another, the reason we've related with another may even be to be reminded how fucking beautiful we are, or how someone sees how kind we are, and we get reminded. And this is another thing too, when someone is giving us compliments, it still doesn't make them the right person. It's like, so beautiful to receive. It's really beautiful to receive what you're seeing in me, or how we are relating. And it just puts another part into the foundation of trust. And it doesn't have to be a foundation for a lifelong relationship, the longevity. It's a foundation for right now.
Yeah.
So being sitting at a dinner, at a date, a lunch, and being told how beautiful and adorable you are they still, a lot of, what am I trying to say? It's like the cock, what do we call them? Cock goggles and pussy goggles.
Yeah, have
It's
you
like,
got your dick
got
you
your
got
cock
your dick goggles on? Have you got are you looking through your vagina? Your hungry vagina?
Yes, a hungry vagina. So you can be told how beautiful you are, or everyone can sit there and like, love bomb. I know that's a narcissistic aspect, like people talk about that narcissism, but love bombing. But it's also adoring, oh my God, you're so beautiful, you this, you that. But then not calling you, then not following through in something that they've said is going to happen. That's not building trust. But often we're hanging on to, but they said they like me, so that's okay. This is all coming back to being really not self-sovereign. There's another regulating, self-regulating our worth. Because there's 7.5, nearly 8 billion people in the world. When we date, we're not dating from a place of scarcity. There's an abundance of people out there.
Yeah, totally. But we wedge ourselves into scarcity, which is a whole other conversation that needs to be had. Can I just share an amazing quote that backs up what you just said? Trust starts with truth and ends with truth. Trust words, not actions. I mean, trust actions, not words. Yeah. So trust is earned when actions meet words. And this is where we women can, well, not just women, but I do know that it tends to be more the feminine, because Melissa, you've talked about this heaps of times, that a man's role is to cast a vision for us, to cast, to have that, hey, this is where, in setting up the container for us, this is where I envision us going. And it's really tricky terrain, because a wordsmith can cast the most beautiful, amazing vision for what he wants or she wants to deliver. And most of these people are well-meaning in their heart, and they truly do want to show up for that thing that they are saying, hey, this is what I'm inviting you into. But we kind of blindside ourselves when the actions and the words are not showing up in congruency together. And you're like, but he said, or she said. And that this is where we get to come back to that place of like, how are we holding ourselves? Because really, like, if someone's words and actions are having a totally different feeling in your body when you're watching them, and you're like, that didn't feel very nice. Like, have we really got our own back in that moment? I actually wrote down about spider medicine, because I just came out of a and I'm going to be really honest about this right now and vulnerable. I let myself be woven into a web of somebody's well-meaning desire to invite me into their dream. And at the beginning, I had all these red flags going on. I was like, the actions and the words are really different. And at the time, I was going through a really big thing, and my nervous system hadn't really recalibrated. And so I was not able to I was able to hear it, but to take action on it, I just didn't, right? And here we are in the school of life. And here I am saying I'm totally imperfect in my journey. So anyway, I did the things of saying, I need to see how you live. I'm going to go and get myself a place. And then this golden orb spider creates this beautiful web on my veranda. And for those of you who don't know what the golden orb spiders are, they're these amazing, massive spiders that have red and gold legs. I call them footy sockers because it looks like they've got footy socks. And their webs are really sticky. And so here she is, she's weaving this web, and I'm sitting there having my morning coffee, doing my witchy business as I do, saying, I know you've got a message for me. Why are you here? And she just kept weaving her web, and I watched her do her babies, and I sat there with her for like 3 months, and all I heard was, do not let someone's dream weaving become a web stuck on your face. Don't let his dreams get stuck on your face. Having a spider web, especially golden orb spider web stuck on your face, is like, it's so full on. It takes ages to peel that shit off. And, you know, how this translates is to really honor the person, to honor the invitation to join them in a dream, but to trust and know that it's a choice to co-weave. It's a choice to go into someone's web. Because I was watching her, like the bugs would fly into her web and just get stuck, and then she would eat them. And she'd roll, and then she lays her eggs inside of their bodies, which is really amazing. And then once all of her babies are hatched, she eats the hatched. She eats the husband. And then I watched her. She just flew off, did a big bungee jump into the river, and she was gone.
Peace out, bitches.
Yeah. Get the fucking message, Mason.
Yeah, she's like, she fucked. She fucked, she fed, she birthed.
I fucked, I fed. I told you about my story, and now I'm out. Get with the program, lady.
Oh my Lord.
The end.
The end. I really love that because I also know where you were, and I know exactly that time. And you know, when I want to say it's more than self-worth, but our acknowledgement or way in life, when it's indicative of someone else proclaiming that, or someone else giving that to us, which we know is codependence. It's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, actually. I'm so in your story right now. It's all coming back to, well, it's also not safe. If we're not autonomous in a decision, or we're not feeling, especially as a feminine, feeling into our body what something feels like, we're not placing ourselves into safety. we're handing a decision. We're actually also handing the responsibility over to someone else, when we're not taking part in our truth. And this actually, I speak to a lot of men around this, but it's also for, of course, to us. But the deepest part of trust, the strongest thing that creates trust, is truth. Even when we think, or we believe, or we fear, or we're nervous, that by us telling the truth, it's going to make someone else uncomfortable. But when you tell the truth, even though someone else is going to maybe uncomfortable, that's actually more trustable than creating scenarios, saying you want to do something, saying you don't want to do something, fluffing down the answer, or becoming distracted over here with something else. You become very untrustworthy. So this is also too of being involved in someone else's dream or going into someone else's ideas, even if it's not, when it's not particularly ours. We're on shaky ground for ourselves, but it's also really difficult for the other person to be able to, I was going to say, grab hold of. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's amazing.
Mm.
So there's two sections to that I hear.
Mm-hmm.
There's a piece of listening to what your body's saying and taking steps in that. And I really want to jam out on the trustworthy, like what the trustworthy piece is, because oh my God, I've got so many things coming through right now. So for me, I was listening to my body. And when my yoni closed up and she said, no, thank you, at every cross point with this person, I was really courageous in saying, hey, this is not what I want. But what I was still doing is honoring, I was helping him carry his trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and we obviously had a soul contract, and I 100% honor that we were together for a reason and a season. And for me, what I take out of this is the priestess path of this using our sexual power, because what the priestesses used to do back in the day was we would fuck the war out of the men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the womb is the place of alchemy. The womb is the place of transformation. And so what happens when we are making love intentionally to a human is, by default, what we're doing is we're bringing the unresolved pain and the unresolved things into our womb, and then our womb, we bleed it and it goes back to the earth and it's cleansed. So this would have happened, like these sacred contracts for the women who do practice the priestess path and the path of sacred sexuality in this witchy, magical way, which Melissa and I are two of those people. I don't identify as a priestess, but I'm using this terminology because I know that I have a really, really big soul contract and life path with this whole stream. So this was a piece of me that, and I know of many of us, and if you're listening to this and you resonate with it and you've been doing it, please reach out, because I've just walked through it and I know that this is a massive thing that we are actually meant to change now. So the cellular memory in woman, especially the medicine keepers and these women, because I kind of hear listeners thinking, well, how does this woman who's doing this work end up in a relationship that's not right for her. And I have zero shame about it because we're relearning and I'm unlearning and relearning. So I actually had my own back by listening to my pussy when she said no. No. And at every convergence point, he would go and get the help to, work through his shit. And then it would shift and we'd move into another season. So I actually was listening and the soul contract thing happened. But what really broke for me, and I feel really, really blessed about this, is it's not my role to carry the trauma of the masculine anymore. I can walk beside him. I can be his backup dancer. And it was this cross identification with having this cellular memory inside of me of remembering these contracts that I may have made in past lifetimes around this work. And I totally overgave. I did it to the detriment of myself. I did it to the detriment of my life force. I know now how to keep my Shakti energy way more within myself. And if he wants to come to the gates of my pussy, then it's a whole, there's a feeling in my body that feels right. And I know what that feeling is. Thank you. Can you hear the garbage collector? Take it away. Is that what it is? Take it away. So yeah, it's like a huge completion. So let's talk about the building blocks of trust, and let's talk about how to listen to our body in it. But I feel like you've got so much to share about the erotic container and the building of trust in that. And yeah.
Firstly, I just want to really acknowledge what you just shared. And I want to back you up with the fact too, is like, as I know at every single point you do have your boundaries. You would place in a container. You fucking worked it. So I want to really acknowledge that.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave him so many beautiful opportunities to journey with me or get off the bus or whatever needed to happen. And him me. So yeah.
There is no There's also a really huge compartment. It's like we are human and the feminine of nurture, and we do believe the best out of people. When I say we, it's not every single person, but there is a general. Humans want to see the best. Humans want to see the best out of everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in that little...
And the maiden inside of us, she wants to build a castle with a sexy man. She wants to believe all those things that he says. There's so many layers to it all, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's never black and white. And that's totally. Like, that whole thing too of wanting to believe the best. Like if someone has told us that, oh my God, they think we're amazing. Oh my God, they really, blah, 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 blah. And they don't turn up and they don't follow through and they don't call when they say. There's that little part of Of course, there's also the part of getting curious. And I've had this experience actually a lot this year. And I love that it's just been testing me of getting curious when I feel like someone has fucked me off or they've ghosted me, where I get curious first. I think I've had 3 this year. All times I've rung you going, thank fuck I didn't lose my shit. Thank fuck I didn't go for the jugular. It's like, holy shit.
I reeled in the raw girl.
I reeled in the raw girl and said, I'm just curious. Before I chop off your head. Like, chop off your fucking head.
With my G-string.
That's right. I'm just curious. I laugh at myself. It's like, oh yeah, that's right. I'm about to bleed. Do you know what also I really, really fucking love is my pussy, my menstruation, my womb. My pussy's so intelligent because she bled
is.
too. Well, I was meant to bleed around this time.
Right.
And she quickly bled at new moon. I'm going, oh my God, here we go again. I'm doing that 2-week thing, which happened 2 years ago. And it was like, no, we're bleeding now because in 2 weeks' time, you're going to have glory walking through your life and you need to be prepared. And your pussy
you need
juice
to be all sparkling with lots of estrogen.
Sparkly tits. Your pussy juice needs to be pheromone full of glorious, not crone. Can you imagine handing over crone energy? Listen here. You better fucking call me. You got 10 minutes. Premenstrual pheromones.
This is my list. I've had a fucking enough of you, men.
We can do a whole skit. We can do like the 4 phases of the menstrual phase, the 4 phases of the menstrual cycle in picking up. And we could do that one scene 4 times. When you come here at January, babe, we're doing it. We're going to film it. The 4 phases of pickup.
Speaking of, Sex in Your Cycle is going to be available as a self-study program. We wrote it years ago when we were living in Costa Rica together, and it will be available for you soon. So if you're interested, hit us up. We will put you on the list.
And January retreat. Anyone who wants to come to Mexico and hang out with us, fuck yeah. Fuck yes. All of the details coming out. Let's get it. Where was I? Trust, building trust, the erotic space. This is the thing. This is the major thing. When we're looking at trust and safety, it can feel like, oh, it's all of these like really boring words. But let me tell you, lovers, a woman's body is not going to open if she can't trust. And there is a part in our primal brain, there is a part of us that's always testing the masculine. And if you don't tell the truth, she'll go into manipulation. That we may get to that in a moment. Yes, we probably will have to. A woman's energy, she's going to push up, she's going to test. And I tell you, I had an experience of this a while ago when I was in Vancouver. I remember it correctly because I was living in the attic the second time my son and I lived in Vancouver. And I was playing with a guy, and he told me that, from 9 a.m. onwards, like after 9 a.m., he couldn't message because of his work and da-da-da-da. So and that was fine. It was great. We had playtime or whatever that. Dog and child. No. Playtime. So I sent a message one morning that went to him just after 9 a.m. This is following through on Word. So he'd made it very clear that he was unavailable after 9 a.m. So I sent him a message, and this is my part. Kind of afterwards, I realized, that was a test that I didn't realize I was doing, but I was not expecting an answer back at all. I sent him a message. I'm going to get an answer later on during the day or at night. He sent me a message back. I lost so much trust. I'm like, he just crossed his own boundary. Ugh, I can't trust him.
Totally.
The tiger's going to come running through the jungle, and he's going to run out the back, and I'm going to be left to kill the tiger. Like, that's what's going on in the primal brain. I can't trust him to follow through. He said he's going to, light the fire to keep us warm or whatever. All of this primal stuff that the man's going to follow through. And we can get into but it's just really nice. You messaged, I thought I'd message back. No, you said you wouldn't, and you did. That's the thing. You just broke trust. So it's that thing as well that comes into ejaculating too soon. But the female body will open and surrender in trust. So it's all of these little bits. You don't have to get 10 out of 10, but it's all of these little things. So if you are going to say that you're picking a woman up at 7 and you rock up at 7:30 and you don't say why, life happens. And that happens 3 or 4 times. And she's nagging you, she's bitching you, she starts telling you, oh, don't eat like that, don't do this, or come in this door. She can't trust you. So if you've got a woman that's nagging you, she's in your ear, It's fucking annoying, but it's also because she can't trust you. So where can you clean it up? Become dependable, become trustworthy, even placing the boundaries. Look, this nagging stuff is really pushing me away from you. I understand that I haven't been that trustworthy. I'm going to prove to you I'm trustworthy. What do you need from me? Like, as a man too, you've got to nip that shit in the bud. You've got to take the lead, because a woman's going to keep on going. When she nitpicks and she nags and she goes on, this is the like, I fucking hate you because I can't trust you. Like, I can't stand the fact that I can't trust you. And a lot of women's energy just, you know, I fall into it. Like, I've had to clean my stuff up around my communication with my my son. And it was where I'm like, why am I doing all that? I realized I was emasculating. I was like, yeah, I can't trust him, because he has actually broken quite a lot of, he hasn't followed through on so many things in the last month. I am fucking pissed. I'm pissed because he said he would do it and he didn't. So it's been all these things. So now it's just like, I'm fucking angry at you because I can't trust you. I'm not angry because the things haven't happened. I'm angry because they were said they were going to happen. It was promised it was going to happen, and it still didn't happen. It's like this for the feminine, is too much to go in the brain to keep hold of all of the things that we can't trust. If you said you're going to do it, we need to let it go. So this is that part that her body's not going to open. So if you've got a naggy, bitchy woman in your life who won't let up, she's got her work to do. It's not all you, if you're a man listening to this. But if you're a woman listening to this and you feel like you're always on your man, check where you don't trust him. And bring that up to him and let him know. I'm a bitch to you right now because I can't fucking trust you. I can't trust you. You don't follow through on your word.
I feel like I can't trust you because you haven't followed through on this thing that you have expressed you would like to provide for me.
Honey, you're so eloquent. I'm like, listen here. Swearing my, yes, you said it very, very eloquently. It is sitting down and having a conversation, going, I'm aware of my behavior. It is because of this.
Yeah.
What do you think we can do about it?
Yes. Absolutely. Amazing. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Because this is where the glitch happens. Because a lot of the time, we don't actually know what it is. And we become really like, I like the nitpicky piece. Like, why am I doing that thing? And I actually have the opposite experience. So this person was asking me to nag him. And I was like, hell fucking no. I'm not your mother.
I was about to say, that's mother energy, honey.
Dude, I'm not in this thing to remind you what you've committed to. Like,
how unsexy is that? Can we just bring that in?
Oh my God.
So
and
he
was saying that he loves a woman who keeps him in order. And I just kept saying, well, mate, maybe I'm not your woman because I don't want to do like that. That is not sexy for me. So that turned me off majorly because no, yuck.
It's also a man that's not going to take responsibility for himself.
He's 100% looking for the out. Well, you didn't remind me.
So what Triumph says. Sorry, just to bring that in.
Yeah, exactly. And I just want to speak to this because it can become quite abusive. This dynamic can become so emasculating for the brothers and really deflating for the sisters. Because if you're turning around and you're treating her like a person who always has a problem, that's breaking trust. Because there is a reason. Like, can we not just come from this place of empathy and compassion for each other and say, I know that the version of the person that I fell in love with doesn't actually nag me by default. Doesn't nitpick. This is like the person who is playful and fun and all the things that I fell in love with there's something that I might be contributing to this. So this is like the trust building piece of being willing to be human and to make mistakes, because we're all going to fuck up. We're all going to feel out of control where we start nitpicking and like controlling little outcomes here and there, and the raw girl might come out when you've seriously hormonally depleted and you can do better. And you know, brothers, you might decide like, oh, fuck, nothing I do works, and so you come to this place of giving up and running away a little bit and going off into your corner and not talking about the things. But none of those things are actually trust building. So this is where Melissa and I, with our sisters, we really, you know, we're massive advocates for having a clearing date and sitting down and saying, oi, I'm doing a thing and I don't like it. And it's because I have heard you say that you're going to do this thing.
This is what I love about clearing dates, the I statements. You know, when this thing happens, I feel. When that gets said, I feel. And it's so wonderful for the other person to witness how their behavior is being received. Because it is that, it's how their behavior is being received. And having
provided that they hear the I statement, because if the receiver is hearing the I statement as a blame and a shame, and they start impounding it inside of themselves, and it's all coming from offense. So the person who's making the I statement is making a self-responsible statement. I feel this. I am responsible for my emotion in this. I'm letting you know how I feel.
Yeah. And in a clearing date, you're not there to change it. You're there to listen and understand. You know, You're not there to, I mean, if someone is, when we're using I statements, I feel this, when you say this, yeah, or when we're out the other night and this happened, I felt, you know, to take that on as a blame, that's your own stuff. That's your work to do, because that's also too, you're filtering what's being said so that you can prove a thing. Like this goes deep, all of the layers of our human behavior. Yeah. But there was something, yeah, bringing, what I loved, something that you said before, so loved, like the person that I fell in love with. So when we're looking at relationship, it's like, what is the truth? This is a bit of Byron Katie's work. Yeah. What's the absolute truth? The truth is we're on each other's side. We're actually here on each other's side. So being on each other's side, what's going on is really exhausting. It's depleting the relationship. What do you think's the solution? What do we need to sort out? Like how it, you know, it's like, it's coming from that. I know that we're on each other's side. You know, I know we are on each other's side. We've just to even be able to say that before you go to someone, it's look, I know. The truth is we love each other. The truth is we're on each other's side. This is really messy right now. You know, what do you think we can do?
Yeah.
And that other person gets to hear us. Oh, that's right. Fuck. We love each other. Fuck. That's right.
Yeah.
You're not against me. You're not my enemy. You're not this.
We're on the same team. Yeah.
We're on the same team. And it's what,
yeah. For me, giving someone the gift of trust is trusting them to take care of my heart and to be kind to me, to trust me that I've got my big girl pants on. And no matter how difficult the thing is that they need to say to me, that I am going to listen and I'm going to take care of their heart in my response. And if the raw girl wants to tear shreds off them because she's fierce as fuck sometimes, that my commitment to taking care of their heart is to actually walk away and go and see somebody to help me with my because I'm not
Mm.
saying that there's no place for her, but in the trust building exercise of what it looks like to walk in care for your person.
Do you know, I just had a really beautiful remembering, and I know that I used it recently. We used it recently. Was it? Oh, when just speaking on this wrath thing, like when something comes up, when we truly are in, when we're on each other's side, we drop into how something feels for us. I mean, if we're going into defense and, you know, we go up like this, that's obviously a disaster, which we all know where that goes. But if someone's coming at you and like you've shared something, you've been vulnerable, or you've shared something, or something's gone on and you've received a reaction that's like really full on, just dropping into your body and going, ouch, ouch. That response really hurts. It wasn't. And when you've dropped back, so you as the speaker go ouch, and you're feeling it in your body, from that place you get to speak your absolute truth, which is, I don't think it's fair that you're responding that way, or that's really painful. I didn't, what I said wasn't meant to elicit this. Like, you come from a better place than a like two emus pecking each other's head out, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
But I was just remembering
totally.
that ouch, just being able
We
to
had a
really
moment
drop
like
into
that
the,
last week,
oh,
didn't
we
we?
did, that's where it was. Yes, it was like ouch. And also too, because
Yeah.
I was, when we receive someone's ra, we receive it as a ra, it can be really shocking. So if we actually own the shock, like, oh fuck, ouch, shit, ouch, like we're in shock. But what most people do in shock or pain is they lash out, and which, you know, which we all do. But if we're able to just remember to go, whoa, that really hurt, ouch,
Yeah.
wow, maybe what I did, yeah, I'm sorry if I wasn't, I'm sorry if I did this, so it wasn't meant to be that way, can we drop back down? And what happened for you? Like, I felt you just, you really dropped after you received that. Yeah, I felt that.
Totally, because I knew where I was. I was like, I'd received a message. I was totally in masculine mode of like, I've got shit to do. I'm asking Melissa for a time, just a time, a yes or no. It was really simple in my head. And I had 500 tabs open. I was in the school traffic. I was like, for one, coming out of the
All
bush.
the things.
I was coming out of the bush with a happy
fuck's sake.
vagina. The very happy vagina, flying high as a kite, hadn't left the bush for like 3 weeks. All of a sudden, I'm in this hectic school traffic on the coast.
And I need a yes no answer from Melissa.
I needed a yes no answer, and Melissa gave me this really long message. It was a long premenstrual message, and it was I was like, there was no yes or no in that. Oh, you asked me one question and I said, yes, babe, of course. That was our agreement, and blah, 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 blah. I'll see you in half an hour. So
Like, yeah,
I was in this major, like, let's get shit done. Do we have an agreement? I've got all these things, right? Full masculine mode. And then I go and do my things, and I get back to the car and I hear my message, and she's like, ouch. That just felt really horrible in my body. And I don't know, maybe I misunderstood some things and blah, blah, blah. And as soon as I heard her say, maybe I misunderstood some things, I was able to drop in and go, oh, yeah, okay, this actually is a misunderstanding, right? If we were not coming from the place of, I'm walking in care and kindness for you, and I am giving you the benefit of the doubt that you are in my corner and you've got my back, and anything that happens between us is literally coming down to a misunderstanding, or we need more information, or one of us is in the feminine chaotic reactive energy and one of us is hyper masculine, or both. We're both really, really hyper emotional, or we're really both hyper masculine and problem solving, because our business partnership doesn't work if we're both in the masculine either.
No.
So we've learned how to do this dance with each other, where one of us is receptive and one is initiating, and you know, it's really yummy. And that's a beautiful thing to do when you're setting up a container of trust with any human being, but particularly in the erotic space where you're dancing with this thing of like, okay, what do you need to feel safe? Because and sometimes it's an unspoken thing as well. It's just being really curious with the other person's body. Because I tend, like, I know for myself, my sexual energy can be just pure fire and just be like and everybody has a different process to getting to that point of being able to go really deep and erotic. So it's really nice to be curious about what your person needs and ask questions, because like this is where so much interpretation happens. Oh, they didn't respond. I did a thing and they didn't respond.
It means this.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to go back to our situation last, because every time there's always two people involved in a situation. So JD was needing an answer from me, but I'm in the space of like, she doesn't care about the podcast like I did. And I spent because in my head, I've spent the whole week running around, doing stuff, trying to get the right lighting, making sure my, getting sort of not riled, but my son laughing at me about how little I know. So I'm getting to the point of like, JD needs no more time because of all what's going on for her. And I've taken it. I've taken it as like, she doesn't care. So because I felt like you didn't care in that moment, my brain is like, well, I can't give her an answer. If she doesn't care, I don't care. That's where it straight goes. So then I'm in like, maybe she doesn't. So this all goes on. So when we drop into how does it feel? How does it feel in the body? And dropping down, because that's not the reality. Jesus Christ. There is no reality that JD and I don't care for each other. It's like polar opposite. And
and our brain tells us stuff.
Brain tells us shit that's not real, man. Like
stories, man. Yeah.
And so if we do this with our dearest, deepest, love affair friendships, of course we're doing it with person we don't even know their full name and their last name. Of course we're making up stuff about how they feel about us, what they think. This is what it meant.
There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, my brain is telling me that when you said this thing, it means this. Is that true?
I'm just
because that's what I wanted to have the opportunity to answer. Because for me, it didn't mean that I don't care. It actually meant that because I live out of town and it's an hour drive to go to town, I try and do everything in a block. But I forgot about school holidays in Noosa, which meant that I needed to add an extra hour onto my travel time. So it didn't mean that I didn't care. It just meant that I fucked up on my time management and forgot about holidays because that's not my reality. And the way that I prepared for the podcast starting was in different ways. And it was really cool to have that trust building exercise, to lean into each other and for Melissa to feel me not react to her saying, ouch. For me to be able to be in that masculine container at the time and say, hey babe, I'm sorry, like I hear that really hurt, and I didn't mean for it to come out that way. It was practical and objective for me.
And actually that's also another good point, because when we're in high, because this is often what happens with a lot of men all the time. When you're in practical objective mode, you don't give the story, you just give what you need. Yeah. And so that's what JD is doing. And because it wasn't until after the ouch, and then you say, it's Noosa, it's school holidays, I go into town once a week. I didn't have any of that information when I received that I'm running late for the podcast. I went, huh? Like, why?
You don't care.
You don't care. And this is actually a really great point, because this does come across from the masculine so much. And women will often say, it's like, fuck, what's his problem? Fuck, why didn't you just tell me? And I'm sharing this all the time with my son. It's like, if you give me all the information, like barging into the room saying, I need this, or where's the da, da, da. Because it's not because men are assholes, they're single focused. And when we're in masculine energy, we're single focused. I've got to get that answer because I've got all of this stuff going on. I've got to get that answer. And it's also really great for women to understand that the masculine's he's not coming towards you. And that's often how we receive. He's coming with the dagger. He fucking thinks I'm just his slave. Like, you know, how all of the stories we tell ourselves, because the masculine has come at us with a quick question, you know, shortly said. And we all have bosses like that. You know, it can be women as well. And I do it too when I'm in masculine energy. I don't have time for the story to explain, but then the chaos that comes from that, from not going, hey. And it's acknowledging, hey, you know, is also when, if you're going to be, hey, I know I said we're going to meet at, you know, like a dinner date. I know I'm picking you up at 7. I just want you to know there's been all of these unforeseen circumstances. I will be there by 8. I promise. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience.
Yeah.
That is like, every woman's like, yeah, that's so, like, sure. Thank God, because I haven't dried my hair. You know, like,
Yeah, totally.
Mm.
I love this point, Melly, because it's just, I think it's an opportunity for the brothers who are listening to also keep it real with saying, hey, I have the best intentions.
Yes.
And I've gone into freeze mode.
Mm. Mm.
I have the best intentions and I need a bit more time. Or I thought I wanted this thing and now I'm aware that I need something else. Because this hyper masculine drive often happens when we want to deliver. When you, brothers, beautiful men and women holding a masculine container, when we have this perceived outcome that we have said we are going to deliver, and we want to be true to our word. Because deep down, everybody knows if you're not true to your word, it's going to break trust, right?
Yeah.
So this is where we get to deepen the dive into trust a little bit more and trust the person by saying, these are my needs. I wanted to deliver, you know? And so for me, I mean, check out this sexy microphone. This is why I needed an extra half an hour. It's so phallic.
The glory of cock-shaped microphones.
Yeah. And because I'm a perfectionist, I researched them for ages. But it was coming from a place of wanting to deliver. And that's why I was late. Apart from forgetting about the stupid traffic. And maybe spending a little bit too long in bed getting a happy vagina. But, you know, priorities.
Well, this is also about telling the truth, babe. My vagina is so happy and she kept me in bed. I know.
Well,
I
kind of did say that as soon as I was leaving. Yeah. As soon as I was leaving, it was the first thing I said in my voice message. But you didn't get it for an hour and a half.
So this is so wonderful because this comes up. I mean, when I work with couples, this is what we're doing. We're in between conversations of he said, she said, because all of this he said, she said, when we're dissecting all of that, we're coming from the primal brain. I'm talking about working with couples when things are back and forth. You know, JD and I've worked our stuff through this. We're always working our stuff through this. You know, it's so beautiful because JD, this is one thing that JD said, hey, can we have an agreement that like, I think you even said, let's reset the agreement. We both know we've got each other's back. We're actually here to take care of one another, coming to that, remembering that. But when we're looking, you know, when I'm working with couples and we're in between these containers of conversations that go away quickly, or the stuff that does not get said or done, the reaction is coming from what we needed to feel safe when we were younger, how we felt that we belong when we were younger, and how love showed up.
Oh, hell yeah.
If I do this, if I stay silent, this is another thing. If I stay silent and I don't speak my truth, I don't say that especially when little girls and boys as well, you have to look good for Sunday. Like Sunday, I was just speaking to someone about this recently, had to go to church and they had to look good. And if they didn't look good, then they're unlovable because they're going to bring shame to the family. So they're not lovable, so they don't belong to the family if they're not dressed all nicely. Like trying to keep a 6-year-old dressed for church is some sort of insanity, like the clean. But then that shows up later on,
Yeah.
where the wife is dressing the husband so that he's presentable for the relationship to look good out there, and he's not telling the truth. He fucking hates wearing ties. Instead of going, I don't wear ties, wearing a tie for the sake to keep the wife happy, loss of erection. It's a mathematical equation. You're not going to tell the truth. You're not standing in your truth. You are untrustworthy. So she becomes niche and baggy because she can't trust you because there's an underlying feeling, and you can't get a hard on because you can't penetrate her and fuck her because you're trying to dodge untruth bombs.
Oh my God, that is a game changer.
Yeah, erectile dysfunction. I'm trying to find different ways. It's not dysfunction. It's got a perfect function. You're not telling the truth. You're overworked. You're with the wrong person. Like, I don't know. What is it? It's
too much cortisol.
Functioning.
Too many.
Functioning perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
It's erectile function. It's just not a straight erectile. It's soft erectile because of all of the things. So I'm really trying to pull the word dysfunction out of my vocabulary at the moment.
Oh, I just really love that because it's so easy to take your man's hardness or softness personally. We have so much ego attached to it, and beautiful men, my God, you're beautiful when you're soft and when you're hard and all of the different stages in between, because the softness of a man is also really beautiful to receive. And that's what we need from you, actually. So in these moments where you've been doing everything to try and please her, but it's not really your flavor and it's like niggling away in the background, and all of a sudden you're not feeling yourself anymore. These are the moments when these really gutsy chats need to happen from a place of, I'm trusting you to take care of my heart. I'm telling you something really vulnerable. Because to me, like, I can't even say I love you to someone unless I feel like they are going to care for me and be kind. Go.
Sorry, I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, but it's what you just talked about, trusting in the heart. This is a reframe. Well, not a reframe. This is a mind blowing, and you've probably already heard it. We women, the pussy is the negative pole. The penis, the cock is the positive. Yeah, positive penetrates the pussy. We need to trust. We need to surrender. We need time to open. We need to feel like we can fully trust to be penetrated. Often, we are taught we will allow penetration. Many women, we've all done it, allow penetration when we don't trust and when we're not fully ready. So now bring that up to the heart. Just as a woman needs to fully trust and have the building of trust for her pussy to open, for the cock to penetrate, she has to be fully ready. It's the same up here. The woman's positive pole is the heart. The man's negative pole is the heart. So if we're thinking of men trying to penetrate us and penetrate too early, there's this the other way, from the feminine to the masculine, trying to penetrate, dump into, expect, demand. When he's not ready, we've got to create that emotional safety for him to be open and ready. It takes longer for the masculine to be emotionally safe in a relationship because this is his negative pole, just as it takes longer for a woman to be ready for sex. Did I just slam dunk that?
Dude, mic drop moment.
Mic drop. That's what I was trying to think. Game changer. So when we think about this, we penetrate into the heart, but we're ready because we're built that way from the positive pole. Doesn't mean men are not ready. They need to feel emotionally safe. So what are we doing to build that emotionally safe container? So the nagging, it's what comes first, the chicken or the egg? No one can answer my question ever. So no one's ever going to answer which comes first here. I'm going to die without that being answered. But if we can bring that energy up to what do we need, and we can ask that, what do you need to feel safe with me? What do you need from me right now? If your man's cock is soft, honey, what do you need right now? And if he's not answering, do you need a hug? Do you need water? Do you need to?
I want to hear from the brothers. If you're listening, what do you need in that moment? What would be helpful? Help us understand, because we don't have lingams. Help us understand, like, because obviously you can feel if we take it straight away. I have this awareness of probably in the background having so many women take offense to the fact that you've gone soft and to take it personally. And I really want to speak to the massive pressure to penetrate and fuck hard and show up and have all of this. I mean, look at porn. It's so freaking, it's all an act. And there's these women just like screaming and going, But what I'm saying is it puts pressure on you to show up in this way for your woman or for the woman that you're fucking and who is your woman in that moment, or the man that you're fucking. And what am I trying to say? Like this riverbank of pressure that comes into the bed. Obviously, you need to be held and to let go of some of that pressure. So what do you need? What does that look like? Like maybe it's a bit of comedy in the moment. Maybe it's like just to get up. And I mean, I'm seeing this beautiful, glorious man at the moment who is really good at noticing what he needs. And I'm very impressed with him because he straight away claimed that he has a magical penis and that I might easily fall in love with him because of it. There's a backstory to it because his mate was like, I need to know about your, like, clearly you have a magical penis. How does this thing, what is going on with you? Like, how do you pull the women? So
with my magical penis,
it's a bit of a joke, which is great because I have a girlfriend who has a quality vagina. And one time she left to have sex with this guy in her van, and my sister and I were in fine form. So we got some tomato sauce from the 7-Eleven after the club's finished, and she was like, the van was rocking. We were outside riding around her car. Sarah has a quality vagina in tomato sauce. So she had to drive around town with Sarah has a quality vagina written in massive letters all the way around her van on the front and this comes from this guy, like this guy saw her vagina for the first time and he's like, holy shit, and he goes, that's a quality vagina. So we've been joking about it ever since. Like, mate, it's not a 4 and 20 pie, it's an actual vagina. Has the internet gone dodgy? I can see that you're like, Oh, into noodles. Anyway, I was talking about my lover and how he the other day was a boss. He was just like, I need things. I need coffee. I need to do these things. I can't hear you at all, Melly.
I can see that you finished telling the storytelling. I don't know if you can hear me.
No, the internet seems to have gone a bit dodgy. I'm just going to keep rolling in case it's recording though.
I can see you laughing. I don't know if you can hear me. No.
It's the internet, babe. It's the internet's gone dodge. Your sound is great. I can hear you. So while Melly's internet is getting better, it's been amazing, our chats today. And the moral to the story of what I was sharing is it's okay to just take that minute and just go, hey, I really want to make love to you. I really want to finish what we started here, but I need stuff. And knowing what you need and having your own back is actually key to building trust. Like Melissa was saying earlier, if you've said you're going to do something or you want something, or the dude who answered the phone after he'd said, hey, I'm not available in this time. There's all these things of being really true to your word, and true to your word starts with knowing what you need and being gutsy to say, hey, I need this thing and I need this amount of time or whatever it is. So yeah, I think that pretty much completes our session today. Melissa's got some amazing stuff coming up. She actually has a course for men. I think it begins, or the doors open at the end of this week. So the links for her men's course will be under this video or under the podcast. And this week in astrology, the moon is waning. So the waxing moon last week, the big full moon was epic. It was really about, it was shaking us up to a culmination point of really being able to see where we are vibrating from in relationships, because it was a Libra moon, and Libra is all about harmony and balance. And, you know, there's so many levels and layers to it, but there was some really rad stuff going on. Like, we went out at 4 a.m. and there was just this beautiful straight line in the sky of Venus, Mars, Saturn, and Jupiter, all having this conversation. So at the moment, there's a lot of old programs being shed. It was illuminated on the full moon. So we're going to be seeing where we are in story in relationships. We're going to be seeing where we can let go of some stuff. The new moon to the full is always about conjuring and planting seeds and cultivating and germinating, and just this, it's a really attractive energy, and it's so beautiful to do that, and then to celebrate that whole culmination point. So each full moon is actually, often it's a 6-month culmination point. So wherever we were 6 months ago on the new moon in that sign, the culmination point will be 6 months later on the full moon of that sign. So when we think back to October last year, many of us were in this place of, okay, the world is no longer what it used to be. We are ready to accept that. And here we are now, 6 months later, and we get to look at the ways that we have kind of moved and flown with the changes and the things that we have set up. So this is always going to be on every level. This is relationships, this is financial, this is within our practical everyday life. So Saturn, old mate Saturn, he's there and he's like, what are your healthy structures? What are you setting up for your life? How are you showing up every day in the things that you do every day that yield a result tomorrow? And it doesn't have to be stuff that is going to make you millions of dollars. It can be how you react and how you change and how you respond to life and how you walk the earth and the simplicity. Because right now, society's going through a massive renovation and it's uncomfortable. But if you think about when you renovate a house, you know, how do we deal with that? We leave the house, we let the renovations happen, we know that it takes time, we're patient. And so this whole renovation thing is happening on a quantum level within all of us inside of our relationships, and most of all with our relationship with ourselves, relationship with society as we knew it and know it. So Big Daddy Jupiter, he's giving us some amazing energy to bless us. And if you think about Jupiter as like the benevolent father and Saturn as the father who has rules, right? So there's that thing going on, as well as Mars and Venus having this beautiful conversation, and then the full moon illuminating the masculine feminine polarities within us, the places where we're not in harmony. There's also some pretty badass things happening with Black Moon Lilith. She is stirring the pot, which is rad, because we need more of Divine Mother on this planet and more of the nurturing energy. So sisters or anybody who's feeling ragey towards the patterns and the programs within society that are currently falling, I invite you to lean into the first mother Lilith, this energy of the wild feminine, and to do it in a way that is completely fucking present with your emotional experience, to be with it and to be wild with it and to lean in. So if you need a session, book in. I've got some spaces available this week. And yeah, the waning moon. So last week it was all about creating and being juicy. And the next set 14, not 14, actually 12 days. For the next 12 days, we now get to let go. We're in this place of taking what works and holding it close to our heart and letting go of the things that don't work. And this is where I recommend using this whole ho'oponopono. I love you. I see you. Please forgive me. I forgive you. I'm sure I didn't say it right, but that's you get the gist. So yeah, Melissa's available through the Pleasure Studio on Instagram and melissalouise.world. And she's amazing at all the things she does in this season. She's holding space for the brothers to master ejaculation and build trust in themselves through sacred sexuality. And for me, I'm available for astrology readings and relationship counseling, coaching. I don't really like counseling, but I help you to just really tap into what is misunderstood between you as a couple and things that are unspoken, because yeah, everyone's got a totally different way of communicating, and I can see that in your astrology chart and really help you to bring that out, as well as the way that you erotically speak to each other and blah 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 blah. So jademason.com. co.co/bookings. Thank you so much for reading and listening and watching it, however you've come through. Please like and share and comment. That would be amazing. And yeah, we want to hear from you. What popped? What works for you about this present podcast? And what do you want to hear from us in the future? Thank you so much for being here. Big love. Rock on. Mwah.